On October 8th, 1871, the deadliest wildfire in American history burned more than 1.2 million acres of forest, wiped out 17 towns, and killed at least 1,500 people in northwestern Wisconsin. But the fire that people remember from that day is not the deadly Peshtigo fire, but rather the fire that burned to its south, the Great Chicago Fire. Chicago in 1871 was a booming city of about 300,000 people, the fifth largest in the United States. It was being hammered together from boards stacked near piles of sawdust at dozens of lumber yards. Not just its crowded houses and barns, but also its sidewalks and plank roads were built of wood. And by fall 1871, an unusually dry summer and hot winds had turned the region into a tinderbox. All that wood meant fires were common in Chicago, but the one that broke out on the city's southwest side late on Sunday, October 8th, was catastrophic. Strong winds pushed the flames across the Chicago River toward the heart of the city, and firefighters, worn out from fighting a different fire the night before, lost control of the blaze. By 3:30 Monday morning, the city's main pumping station had burned, and the firefighters could do little as the fire jumped to the north side of the city. By the time a light rain put out the fire early on Tuesday, October 10th, about 300 people had died, 100,000 were homeless, and nearly $200 million of property, more than $5 billion in today's dollars, had been destroyed. The fire had started in or near a barn owned by Catherine and Patrick O'Leary, immigrants from Ireland who owned their own home, renting part of it out. Catherine owns 6 cows, a horse, and a wagon for her successful small dairy business. The O'Learys were asleep when the fire started, but even before the flames had burned themselves out, a reporter blamed Mrs. O'Leary for the conflagration, claiming she had placed a burning lantern near the foot of her cow while she was milking, and the cow had kicked it over. The story took off like, wildfire. In the boom years after the Civil War, immigrants were moving to American cities, bringing clothes, languages, religions, and customs that native-born Americans found outlandish. At the same time, workers around the world were organizing to exercise political power. Just 6 months before, workers in Paris had taken control of the city, and Americans of means worried that such a revolution could come to the United States. Blaming an immigrant woman for burning down Chicago stoked those fears, while denigrating her for being so stupid as to put a lantern by a cow's foot made her seem less threatening. The cartoon image of the foreign-born Mrs. O'Leary and her cow persisted, even as Chicago rebuilt, with brick, stone, and iron this time, so quickly that in 1893, only 2 decades after the fire, the Columbian Exposition showcased Chicago as the modern, progressive white city.